What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
And LeVon Maynard.
Hey, welcome to the show.
What's going on? It's another great weekend. It's an MLK weekend, right?
Yeah.
If you're tuning to the show, check us out Monday and Tuesday for our topics, Wednesday for our discussion. Thursdays, Ask Us SP hasn't kicked off this year yet. And then Fridays, we talk about everything else. So if you tune in the Friday episode, we talk about sports, games, media, just anything we've consumed over the past week. So a lot of Bills talk. We're going to be this week. Super excited. We got that W. To catch up just on one thing from last week, the Apple HomeKit situation has been patched. So if you have the latest and greatest patch, or you're in need of the latest and greatest patch, you should be good to go. Not really much to talk about there, but I just wanted to bring it up for continuity's sake. But for this week, I give it to LeVon.
Yes, sir. So we got a live one from the Hacker News. This is from our good friend Ravi Lakshmanan. This one is talking about the FBI, NSA, and the CISA warning of Russian hackers targeting critical infrastructure. And this article kind of stems from, we've had tensions with U.S. and Russia over Ukraine and Kazakhstan. Basically, we've had some altercations there. I think Russia has been making some actions like they're about to invade into that territory. So we've been kind of pushing back with our government, trying to prevent that from happening. But as a result, it looks like there is potential for Russia to be kind of orchestrating some attacks, some cyber attacks with Russian state-sponsored actors. So these various organizations, like I mentioned, the CISA and FBI, NSA, they've been trying to give like heads up notification to companies out there that this could be coming, or this is kind of coming pretty soon from Russia, from state-sponsored actors, and that people should be on the, be aware of it and be prepared to respond as required. And the article actually shows off some list of flawed exploits. I'm sorry, a list of flaws exploited by the Russian hacking groups to gain an initial foothold. And some of the flaws they mention, they cover various operating systems and services, like they have some VPN, FortiGate. I'm not sure if that's how to say that, FortiGate or FortiGate, something. Cisco routers, Oracle WebLogic servers. They have even Microsoft Exchange, Citrix, VMware. So it goes on to list a bunch of those vulnerabilities that are out there that these Russian groups are known to be hacking and taking advantage of. And one thing that says here is that the actors have demonstrated the ability to maintain persistent, undetected long-term access in compromised environments, including cloud environments, by using legitimate credentials. So these groups are actually able to, obtain these credentials, whether it's some phishing attack or whether they're using some old-fashioned hacking moves and decrypting passwords or guessing people's passwords. They're able to get into these systems, and they actually just, they use these systems to use these passwords, accounts to make lateral movements and gain enhanced privilege access into systems. And it's kind of this kind of daisy chain and build off of the initial access and just get control of the entire environment. So, these hackers are sophisticated, and they're getting sponsored by Russia, so they have a lot of money behind them to kick off a lot of these attacks. But some of the things that they mentioned as well, to increase your cyber resilience against the threats, the agencies recommend mandating multi-factor authentication, which obviously I'm a big fan of, and looking out for signs of abnormal activity implying lateral movement, enforcing network segmentation, and keeping operating systems, applications, and firmware up to date. So these are some, a few suggestions from them to, help secure your environment, to help it make it more cyber resilient. It even goes on to say, you can implement robust log collection and retention, as well as require accounts to have strong passwords, and list some more. But it's just something that we all need to be aware of. We talk about this kind of stuff on the show a lot. Just having that cyber presence and be, have a game plan, have things in place. So if you do get compromised, you have a quick note, or you have like a quick access, or you have a strategy to implement right away that is going to be effective to recover your systems or to lock them down, or whatever you need to do to get your systems up and running. But this is a really interesting article. Obviously, with the Ukraine stuff going on, Ukraine and Russia issue going on, it really ties into a lot of things that we're dealing with as of late with the U.S. government. But with that said, Shannon, you have some thoughts on this one?
So I do, right? So like for me, here's what gets me with this article, right? So you went through listed a few of the things that they were talking about that are being exploited, right? But as you look at these and you look at the CVEs on them and you actually look them up, we're talking about things that are 3.5, almost 4 years old. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they're going around and they're doing anything new or have some type of new technology. They're going after old stuff that should have been patched, that is made available to users of this hardware and software. You know what I mean? When it comes to Cisco and Exchange, like they're not hiding these fixes from you, right? They have a website, legitimate website. You go to, you download it, you fix it, you go on your way. So again, like I hate to say you get what you deserve, but you kind of get what you deserve with some of the stuff that they're warning about, right? So like FBI, NSA, and CISA are saying, hey, watch out for these things, but the things they're targeting, it's not anything new. No, granted, there are some new ones on there, right? There are some things that, okay, if you have somebody that's not paying attention, they could be exploiting something that's from last year or within the last few months. But for the most part, when you look at this list, I mean, we're talking stuff that goes back 3.5 years, 3 years, 2 years, 2.5 years. People should already be on this. Like, they're not telling you anything new. And even the best practices that they mentioned in the article here, right? Implement robust log collection and retention. Yeah, you should be doing that anyway, right? That's a good practice across the board anyway. Require accounts to have strong passwords. Duh, yeah, you should be doing that already, right? And MFA, like you were talking about, you should be doing that already, right? Disable all unnecessary ports and protocols. Things we should be doing, right? You should be locking that stuff down anyway. You don't just leave those open for any applications you have. That's another attack vector for somebody to go after, right? So I don't know. This is I'm flustered. I'm a little flustered because it's like, come on, people, like we should know this stuff now, especially when you're a major company, right? Like you're trying to gain trust of the people. You know what I mean? You should definitely be watching out for it, because when it's little silly stuff like this, like when you have to admit that you got hacked by something that was not patching your system, it's 3.5 years old, like the people should be like, okay, well, let's tar and feather them now. You know what I mean? So,
right.
But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Ryan, what you got?
No, I can't disagree with you at all. But I think if for this to work, they're targeting people who don't have teams. So you have businesses that just don't have security teams that are ignorant. Because a lot of stuff, like you said, is fundamentals, right? It's just common sense, like things that are baked into all of our certifications and experiences and education. So they're targeting people who either they are ignorant and they just like, I have a server that's, front facing, not patched on Apache 1995, or I don't even know if it existed in 95. But and I think on the other side, it has to be companies where you don't have a strong CISO or security team presence, right? So there's somebody at the top making all the decisions and cutting back costs. Like we'll continue to use this end of life software until we no longer can use it, right? Because it's saving us money, and that software is vulnerable. So I think it's those two perspectives. Like if you have somebody in the middle who has any type of team, then they're taking care of the stuff. That you don't have a 3 to 4 year flaw, or you're not running off of software that Microsoft or Google or somebody else was like, you won't even use this anymore. It's not even supported. Like we've been moved off of that. So I think those are the targets. It's the top and bottom. It's not no longer in the middle when it comes to this type of stuff.
If the person at the top is making those decisions or making the decision and comes to that conclusion, their risk acceptance needs to be reevaluated. Yeah. Right? Like there's no way you sit there and say, okay, we're saving money by doing this. Like, especially if you're at the top of a company, right? You always are thinking in terms of money and what it'll cost you, right?
Yeah.
And I say this a lot on this podcast, public trust. Like that's where you can lose people. And again, it could be a little mom and pop's store, right? Like I hear you on that. if it's a little
Yeah.
mom and pop place, but they should be even more careful, right? Because they can't give any leeway to any of the big chains or anything like that they're competing against, right? Like you can't stand to lose those customers, especially in this day and age.
Yeah, yeah, like the bad business
That's a
continuity,
good
and then you're
point.
down for X amount of days, and now you're bankrupt, right?
Mm.
But I think on the other side, though, the busy business minded, non tech savvy person who's in charge of the company could take that gamble. They could be like, you know what, we won't get hit. There's millions of companies that don't get hit. But then when you do get hit, like that person gets the golden parachute and gets to go away. So like,
Right.
I hedge my bets. So that's why I was actually I watched the conference 2 days ago, um, where they're kind of discussing the future and how hacks will impact our lives more. Traffic lights and e-wallets and things like that being hacked can have ripple effects. And in it, the keynote speaker, she brought up a good point. Like some companies have the CISO and CTO either side by side, or the CISO is over in the actual C-suite, and that actually does create a more robust company that can interact and bounce back quicker than we are seeing, where the CISO or whomever it doesn't have any pull when it comes to the board. They're just more like reactionary. So I thought it's pretty good. I was like, I didn't even know companies were doing that. And she happened to be working with or for a company that actually does have it. They were side by side. So that person, which I think may be her, actually is at the table making those decisions. So I was like, okay, that's makes me feel good about the future, right? But everybody's not doing this. It's not where we're at still. And we're hemorrhaging money, right? Like I think it's like billions of dollars each year by this happening. I'm trying to do ahead. I'm trying to find her name since I brought her up to give her a shout out. I think it's Naomi. Of course, it's not going to pop up now.
But that is a good thing, right? So like that is a good thing that you do have those people that are side by side like that, because like the way it seems is that people in those positions can always give their recommendations, right? But ultimately, if it's a large company, right, the CEO is going to make the decision on whether or not you go for it, because the CIO, CTO, whatever that person may be, they're probably not making that decision on their own, right? Without confirmation from a CEO, COO,
Right.
someone of that
Right.
Whomever has the bank account. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Right.
whoever's in
Right.
charge of the bank account. But
Yeah.
I think we are growing. I think like to stay optimistic about it, right? Like again, these are all fundamentals. We're getting better at it. It's just that they still have this persistent foothold is the reason that the FBI, NSA, and CISA are so concerned. Like people are, for whatever reason, they're still holding on to this old stuff. They're just not patching it, or they can't patch it. So like they continue to have easy vulnerabilities that can be remedied as footholds into networks. Her name is Naomi Buckwalter. So I follow her on LinkedIn and on Twitter. She did the keynote. I thought it was pretty impressive, and it does give me hope. You know what I mean? Like if you just get us into the right places, we can keep you from Hackville, keep you front page of CNN. So
Right.
he's got to keep pressing on, keep trying. But I think that wraps up this one. So and it directly ties to Wednesday. So if you listen to this one, then definitely listen to Wednesday when we talk about Russia and the current Ukraine situation. Continue to like, share, subscribe, hit that like button, share with your friends. Again, Monday, Tuesday topics, Wednesday is discussion, Thursday, Ask a CISP, whenever that kicks back off. And then Fridays, we talk about everything else. So hit up the website, www.theothersideofthefirewall.com, to get to all our socials. You can hit me up personally. I'm at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. And you, LeVon?
Yes, sir. You can hit me up on the Twitters at LeVon Maynard.
There it is. Stay safe, stay secure.
Take care.